Maybe it's been a while since you've pulled your old china out of the cabinet. It might be missing a few pieces from the whole set or have a few chips and cracks. But here's your excuse to dust it off. Today's creative guest brings an idea that gives your old ceramics a chance to shine. She's saying mix, match, and stack them together for a totally transformed vintage vibe, and I'll say a really chic looking piece. Studio 5 creative contributor Michelle Crowley is here to share how to put it all together. It's great to see you.
Hello, Brooke.
You have a table full of treasures.
It's packed.
And the way you have put these together is so impressive to me. What inspired you to take on this project?
The original inspiration was this idea over here. My daughter got married, and I had an idea for her wedding, and then I couldn't find what was in my head.
Yeah.
And so then I said, well, I'm just gonna make it. So I started collecting bowls and candlesticks, vases, ice cream dishes, things to elevate these cut glass bowls. I wanted this kind of vintagey, grand millennial kind of a look for the table centerpieces, and then also for the serving tables to put like salads and things in. So that's where the idea came from, and it's morphed into this hobby kind of obsession.
As all good ideas do.
Yes, where I kind of haunt places and dig through my mom's old stuff and, you know, looking for little treasures that I can turn into something new.
You're gonna show us how and inspire us with your collection, your obsession, but there's a principle at play here, and it's such a creative concept, but you believe creativity is learned and creativity is practiced.
Absolutely. So many people think that creativity is a genetic trait. You're either born creative or you're not. It's
you
like,
have it or you don't.
Yeah, either akin to blue eyes. Either you're born with them or you're not. Either you have the gene or you don't. And that's just not true. Creativity is something that we develop. It's something that we can learn. It's just a series of skills, and when you have those skills, then the possibilities start to open up and you can see what you can do. And so you learn the skills and you practice it, just like you would practice anything, you know, shooting a basket, turning a pirouette.
Well, that vision is at play in this project because you had the skills, but I imagine your eyes started to train differently toward the pieces that would really work well and serve you in beautiful fashion, and they have. Where were you sourcing all of these bits?
So where I source these things from is, like I said, my mom's boxes of stuff. We moved my parents a few years ago, and it was, she was even more of a hoarder than I am, and there was so much stuff. But
now that's genetic.
that is genetic.
Okay.
And so I gathered those things. Some of them are my mother-in-law's, my husband's grandmother, which actually makes them kind of special. And those kind of things where you see and you go, well, you know, this china, I kind of feel bad throwing it away, but are we ever going to use it? There's not enough to set a table with.
Yeah, it's the bits and pieces.
So how can we use them in a way that we'll actually use them?
If we're not sourcing family members' collections, what are we looking for, Michelle, at the thrift store that will pull off a beautiful finished
head to the
piece?
thrift store, and then if you can't find them at the thrift store, then go to, you know, Home Goods and other places.
But is it the shape or the stability, or what are you looking for?
You're looking for what you think is pretty.
What's pretty to you? Okay.
So what's pretty to me is probably different than what's pretty to you.
Okay.
So it's going to be different for different people. And that's one of the beauties of it, right? And but what you're looking for, and this is where the creativity comes into it, and this exercise or this practice, is to practice. The more you do this, the more creative you'll become. And that is to practice looking at something through a different lens. And this is what it is like on the face, on the surface of it. But what could it be? What else could it be used for? How else could I use it? Turn it upside down, turn it sideways. What else can I use that for? And that's the creative practice. And so if you do this kind of a project, you're doing your homework. You're exercising those creative muscles.
Let's get technical. What tools or supplies do we need to affix this together, adhere these together?
There's two skills.
Okay.
Two super, super simple skills. So gluing glass is one of them.
Okay.
And we're gonna do that together because that one's an easy one to do.
What do you glue glass with?
You glue glass with glass glue.
Okay. Well, listen, it felt like a joke that my 6-year-old makes up and tells me. What do we glue glass with? Glass glue.
Glass glue.
Glass glue. Okay.
And really the only steps are to make sure it's very clean. Because if it's not obviously very clean, then it's not going to stick. Especially because you have oils on your hands. So
don't skip that step.
Yeah, so I just am wiping it with alcohol wipe.
That's a little tube. How much glass glue do you need?
Well, you need very little. And here's the thing, once you open these, they're gone.
Oh, you got to use them.
And so it's better to buy like the smaller tubes and more of them than one big tube because it's going to dry out as soon as you use it.
Okay, all right.
And then all you're going to do is you're just going to go along the edge.
It's very thin. I've never worked with glass glue before.
It's just like, it's super glue essentially, but it's, I don't know. Maybe it's exactly the same and they just market it different, but it's.
They got us.
They got us.
They got us.
And then I decided to use this candlestick and adhere this plate.
Now,
so
how
I'm just
long
going
does
to
it
put
take?
It's going to take a little while.
Okay.
So you're just going to leave that and let it sit.
And that's stable. You can grab it by the base, move it around. It's sound.
Once it's adhered, it is. Then I am going to go back over with my wet wipe and just clean away any of the glue that might have dripped around.
Squished or
That's it. So that one skill.
Look at that.
And then think of all the possibilities.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing all the possibilities and they're beautiful.
I brought these, so here, I'm looking at, how I gather all my things and I start saying, how can I use this?
What goes with what?
Yeah, what do I like?
Look
Is
at
that
that.
too big? Is that too high? What do I think? And even this is a lid.
Yeah.
So this would make a great base. It's a candy jar lid.
Oh, stop it. Look at that.
So, I mean, there's so many things that you can do with this.
Okay.
And then also, this little candlestick, I love these for bedside. Beside the bed, when you fall into bed and you're shedding your jewelry and your watch and your rings.
Shedding, I like that.
And all those things before you fall into bed. And so just a little candlestick with that.
All right.
Just upscales. It takes something ordinary and makes it really pretty.
1 minute left. What's our second skill?
Second skill is drilling into the glass.
Ugh.
To create these tiered trays, these are all just plates.
Okay.
These are all just plates that I gathered, and you can buy the tiers on Amazon, or you can just steal from other tiered trays.
Okay.
All you need is a special bit and your drill. That's it. I do it in the sink because you want water to run on it, and you're just gonna just put it on there. The bit is a carbide or a diamond, and it's made for cutting glass. The label will say glass or ceramic.
And you want the water running over it while you drill?
While you drill, because it gets hot. It takes a long time.
Okay.
The hardest thing about drilling in glass is patience.
Okay.
Because it takes a while, and so it creates friction, and that creates heat. So the running water prevents the heat.
So you've drilled through, in this case, the plate and the bowl, and then how do you
So now I'm just going to...
And this kit you would get on Amazon?
These I just stole from another tiered tray that I had. I just took it apart. And then you're just gonna, I have the wrong one.
Oh, it fits right in there though.
It's not fitting the way it's supposed to.
Oh.
But it's just gonna drill right in. This idea here that I had, I loved this bowl and this plate because I was thinking I could put fruit down here and then put cream on the top.
A dip.
In the top of it.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
But all you do is just screw in the pieces.
Yes, from your China collection to that dish section of the thrift store. You're going to be looking at all of those pieces with reimagined eyes. Thank you so much, Michelle, for inspiring us. Where can we connect with you online?
On my Instagram, Michelle's Design Life, and my website, also, michellesdesignlife.com.
We'll meet you there. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.